Bless us, O Lord, and
these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. If you're wondering what this handsome guy on my left is,
I got to stand up so you guys can. Yeah, it's not very often I get introduced.
This is a guy we used to fly jets together, and he happened to be our best man when we got married. His name is Dave.
Isn't that romantic?
Yes.
Dave Elliott, and I want you to meet him, and maybe you say a couple words?
Sure, go ahead.
Just a
Can
couple.
I tell stories about him?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a couple.
Incriminating, embarrassing ones, preferably.
He's going to say a couple words.
Okay, this is just one story. I got a million of them. One time we were at Nellis and we had to fly. Now some of you guys remember that. You won't remember what happened. He might have told you. We were flying to a place in California called North Island Naval Air Station, and we were supposed to get some nighttime because we couldn't fly around Nellis because we had students all the time. So we got in a T-Bird and we flew to North Island Naval Air Station.
Explain what a T-Bird is.
Oh, a T-33. It's a jet, two-seated jet wannabe fighter. It was one of it
Can you guys
was
hear?
the first
Get closer.
jet fighter, the trainer of the first jet fighter that came online in the United States Air Force. So that tells you a little bit of how old we are. Okay, so I was flying there and I had to get the night landing. Jack was, and when we got on the ground, Jack and I would trade places and we would fly back to Nellis and he would get the night landing at Nellis. And that was just a requirement. We had to get so many night landings and, stuff like that. So we got to North Island, and as we're approaching, everything's black. You can't see anything. And we said, well, they vectored us to a final approach. And I said, I can't find the runway. And they said, well, we'll turn up the lights. And it was like, you'd have to strike a match to see if it's on. Just a little bit of, but it was dark, so a little bit of light was enough. I landed, and they said, turn off your landing lights. And I said, they're off. And they said, no, they're on. And I said, that's my taxi lights. And they said, turn off your taxi lights. And then they told us that night operations are in effect. And Jack explained to me, because I didn't know what night operations was, that in the Navy, they land on aircraft carriers and everything has to be totally black. But for the guys working, they get night vision and they wear red goggles and they have red flashlights and everything is red, so it doesn't affect your night vision. So I said, okay, and I started practicing night vision real quick, and he said it takes about 2 hours to get night vision. Oh, okay. So then they sent a follow me truck out, and it had a sign that said red. It was red that said follow me, and we followed him in. And the crew chief climbed up on the wing and says, don't turn on any flashlights, don't turn on any lights, you'll destroy our night vision. And I said, okay. Jack said, okay. So we got out of the airplane, we changed helmets and parachutes, we're changing cockpits. And I get in the back seat and he gets in the front seat. We go inside, we get a red flight plan, we have a red cup of coffee, we got a red weather briefing, and then we headed back out to the airplane. Jack said, I'll get the clearance, you do the pre-flight. The plane captain, actually it's a crew chief, but Navy calls him plane captain. Plane captain come over and he says, thanks for not, destroying our night vision. I said, okay. So we go around, I do the pre-flight, and finally we get everything ready. I climb up in the back seat and I'm strapping in. Jack said, ready to start? And I said, yeah, ready to start. And he hits the starter switch, and the airplane groans as the old APU, it has to, it just overstresses the APU. And it goes, and then finally it comes back up. And I'm still kind of strapping in, and Jack says, hey Dave, is the ignition switch on in the rear cockpit? And it's dark in here. I just reach over, find this, we know where the switches are. Find the switch and I move it to on. And I says, the switch is on. Well, what happened was that about 100 gallons, now about 5 gallons of JP4 had gone through the engine. It hadn't ignited because he turned off the switch. And we got all this fuel going out of the tailpipe, and I hit this switch.
Oh,
And we had the biggest flash bulb you have ever seen in your life. You know,
Destroyed their night vision.
and it was just
then some.
a flash, but it was burned into your eyes. You know, so everything was kind of like looking at a negative.
Yeah.
And Jack said, "Uh-oh." No, you know, you could see A4s and fire trucks in the tower, and you could actually see the runway, and you could see the surf out on the edge of the runway because it runs right down. We didn't know that.
Oh my God.
And Jack said, "Nice base."
First time I saw it.
too bad they won't invite us back.
Yeah, you're not invited back, I bet.
So Jack said, "Well, night vision is no longer in effect." He turned on his taxi lights and we taxied out and took off.
With your plane's tail between its legs.
And we lived happily ever after.
Nice beach.
I thought you were gonna say you opened the canopy and the dome light came on.